Okay guys, so I made a couple of errors in my previous tutorial, and I'm just going to kind of go through here and kind of go through some things with you guys. These are just kind of small things mostly, but basically just out of sheer rush. For one, I forgot to set up sequence files, and which is a bug fix for Skyrim's dialogue issues. The other thing that I forgot to mention was with branches and why this is green. And last but not least, I actually found a dialog bug, which we will remedy in this tutorial. Okay, so the first thing is you'll notice that usually when you start a new branch, it's actually going to be yellow instead of this green. That's because it's a top level branch. And this is pretty much just a standard branch. What you'll want to do when you're creating a ForceGreet topic specifically is you'll want to right click, go edit branch, and change this to blocking. And this will change it to this sort of sea green or very light green color, if you will. Greenish, almost greenish blue, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. It's basically what blocking does is it blocks all other topics from occurring when the player actually talks to them, or when they talk to the player. It will actually block any other topics from playing until this ForceGreet is actually done. Okay, so the second bug we're going to fix is this dialoguing issue. Now, what I did here is I just created one big topic for this. And in some cases this will actually work, but you have to set conditions to make sure that these two options will be available correctly. In this case you have one choice or the other, and in that case with dialoguing you're going to want to actually separate these out into different topics. It's just generally better and it works better. So here, instead of saying okay, we're actually going to delete that and we'll add a new topic in. And if it loads up here real quick, my machine's kind of slow. Okay, here we go. So we're just going to call this, we're going to change the ID to, I usually leave this part of it in, and then I just call it something along the lines of refuse pay, something like this. Okay, and then we'll go new, and then we'll say they're going to refuse and say, what I did here is just something very simple. I just said no, I will not pay. Actually, that's the response text, so I need to put that in the topic text. So then what they're gonna say is okay. I mean, it's just pretty simple. We don't need it to do anything. This is actually where we would go ahead and put in our options for pay options or whatever when you make the payment. Actually that would be in the other topic, but whatever. Anyway, so what we're going to want to do is go in here and go get his ID, and we'll set this condition for Bob so that it knows to use his voice, okay, and to set it in his folder for this plugin. So we go ahead and do this, and then we'll want to do it random, and then goodbye. Okay. Oh, and one other thing, we'll want to set this to a priority. We'll actually want to separate these out and make sure that they have different priorities. We'll leave this one because it'll be the lowest priority probably. I'll let it be on the bottom. And then up here we're going to have our topic text which will be no, I will not pay. Next I'm going to click on this, on the response text again, and load that up so that I can go ahead and put his dialogue in. So I click on that, and in here I'm going to say I'm wearing a headset because it's pretty late at night, but I'm going to go ahead and click this. Okay, now I previewed it and it does work, so I'm going to click save. You guys probably can't hear this again because I actually did this separately, or did this with headphones on, excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK now, and that's pretty much done. And the second thing we need to do is, because I'm going to want this one on top and I'm going to want it to have a higher priority, I'm going to go in here and change its priority level, which is right here, and I'm going to change it to something along the lines of 60 or 70. 70, just to be sure, whatever. Another thing you'll notice is that on these, you're going to see a lot of times, if I click on one of these again, you're going to notice the subtype up here, and you may notice a couple other things. Actually, it's not showing it here for some reason. It's probably because it's not the start topic. All right, well, let's go back over here, because it's, I know that that this works over on these first topics normally, and in ForceGreet you can set these up, and I think that's because it's a starting topic. Okay, see the subtopic says ForceGreet. It doesn't necessarily have to be ForceGreet. It can be anything, and it should still work. That's not totally important, but I usually go ahead and set it for ForceGreet anyway. Okay, so now we're going to drag this. I usually drag this over just for organization. We're going to go over here, click on this, and link it back up, just as in the other tutorial. Now he should come up with both options properly. This should be on the top, and this should be on the bottom. Okay, so now that bug's fixed. We're going to go ahead and save it out. And then I'm going to show you one last thing here. Okay, and that is that, well, I'm going to have to wait for a second here. Apologize, Skyrim takes forever sometimes to close itself down. Well, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and open up the other. Okay, so I'm going to open up TS5Edit, and you're going to have to find this tool in the Nexus. And what I'll do is I'll actually select what we need here for this particular one. I mean, just to be on the safe side, I usually only select the files that are related to whatever file I'm working on. This is, you don't have to do that, I don't think, but this is basically a cleaning utility to go back through your content in your ESP or your plugin file and look at different things. And I think you can even create ESMs with it. I know you could do that with the version of this that was released for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and I did that a lot for those because that actually fixed a lot of bugs. So I'm going to pause this for a moment. Just for the sake of time. All right, so we're back, and you'll notice that everything that I just loaded is now in here, and it's stated down here that it's finished. So what we're going to want to do in here is create what's called a sequence file. Now, what a sequence file does is it's a new file type that fixes a very nasty dialogue bug in Skyrim and in the creation kit. What happened is after patch 1.6, Bethesda actually created a new file type for Skyrim in order to handle how quests, starting quests and dialogue quests work. And in doing so, what they did is the game you have to generate what's called a sequence file, or an SEQ. I'm not sure if it stands for sequence or not. I'm just assuming that. But anyway, these files basically contain a list of various references that are start game enabled within each quest. You have to generate one each time you create a new quest or new dialogue. Just as a rule of thumb, you'll have to regenerate that sequence file. And I found that a lot of mods actually that fail to initiate, I'll actually have to go back in and generate a sequence file, and it takes about 2 seconds to do it in here once you get the program loaded. It's very easy to do. The other thing is about this is that you can actually do this via command line in a couple other ways, as described on the Nexus forums. I can't remember the post right now. This is just the easiest and the most reliable way that I've found to do it. I've heard of other people having a few little issues here and there. I don't think it was anything too horrible. Usually things just related to how Steam behaves. But anyway, we're going to go in here. I'm just going to right click and go to Other, and then I'm going to go Create Sequence File, and you can see it's already been created. It's a simple fix. It takes just like a split second. I just wish Bethesda had informed the modding community of this, and we probably wouldn't have lost quite as many modders as we have over the last few months because they couldn't resolve dialogue issues, and it was just a simple thing and nobody could fix it. I actually had to go to great lengths to try to fix this before I ended up running CCleaner on my machine, cleaning my registry, all my cache files. Still nothing. Created clean saves. Still nothing. Went back to the beginning of the game. Still nothing. Loaded multiple times. Restarted my machine. Still nothing. And I would even go to the extent and the lengths eventually of creating a brand new fresh save with nothing installed, uncheck all of my my created ESP files. I'd go back out, do CCleaner, clean my registry, shut down the machine, and pull out the RAM just so that it wasn't stored. I figured it had to be storing that somewhere in the RAM, the system RAM. And sometimes I'd even flash reset the BIOS just to make absolutely certain there was nowhere that any of this data could hide. And then I restarted my machine, and for some reason it did clear it up once in a while, but it took a very long process, about 15-20 minutes each time I had to check my ESP, and it was very dangerous to do this to your machine. So I'm very glad that they came out with this bug fix. I was actually in debate about possibly canceling my mod because of my projects because of this. And I'm very glad to the people who found the solution for this bug, and I'm very grateful for it being implemented in this tool. So I would like to say thanks to those who did this. So, all right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. I will do a quick video, probably part 3 will just be, I'll just be showing you guys in game what it looks like, and it'll be just a very short video. But I'm going to do it with Fraps rather than Cam Studio. So, all right, thank you guys. And happy Skyrim modding.